I was the kid that always took stuff apart. You know, what a degree shows is what I've learned from some of these recruiters because I've done a lot of contract work. What a degree shows is that you can sit there for 4 years and complete something and walk away with a piece of paper. So
Right.
it basically saying like you're coachable. When you're back in cybersecurity, it's a whole different world.
In this episode of the Keyboard Interrupt podcast, I sit down with Louie Kapukapu. Louie is a security nerd turned cybersecurity analyst. Has many years of experience within the gaming industry, ranging from roles of QA tester to red teamer, and now as a senior blue team SOC analyst. It was a great sit down with Louie. Gained insight to upbringing, his first experiences with tech, his advice to those going the degree route and the non degree route, his experience in college, his transfer into the tech world, his beginnings, and overall just great insight into how one can get into the industry. So, with that being said, stop scrolling, stop typing on your keyboard, and just listen to this episode of the Keyboard Enter podcast. Malo apito and dofatu. Today we got a special guest, my uncle Louie. Louie, if you could just um, give us a little background of who you are and kind of like your upbringing.
Yeah, name is Louis. My nephew got Louis Lavulo on this thing.
Oh, where?
I haven't been a Lavulo since my freshman year in high school. It's because your grandpa over here forgot to put it on the birth certificate. So
Oh, so is it, man? No, that's good. Let's talk to that because I was, I know, I when I sent you the link in your email, I saw it's like kap kapu. Is that what
yeah,
your pops put down on the birth certificate?
yep, that's what. Because so in Tonga, they keep they're all known like your grandpa, my dad, Eric's dad. They're all known as like Kapukapu, like Viriam Kapukapu. You know, they go by your first name and your dad's first name or your dad's name. So that my dad, when he came to the States, he kept he's known as Sales Kapukapu in Tonga. So he kept his Tongan name when he came here. So
Mm-hmm.
when he did all his paperwork, it's all Sales Kapukapu. And then when I was born, it was Louie Kapukapu. He never put a Lavulo. Your grandpa put a Lavulo in my name,
Oh, okay.
which is the crazy thing.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, so growing up, was it just your family that did kap kap, or did I'm assuming it's just you
Shouldn't
guys, huh?
like I told you, I didn't find out until I went to high school,
Uh huh.
and then they looked at my birth certificate, and they were like, the name you used up until now it does not appear on your birth certificate."
Oh, dang.
So yeah, so then I had to switch it. So from when I was like 6, so your grandpa he put me on his benefits so I
Mm-hmm.
could fly, but I had to have the same last name as your mom in there.
Yep.
So
Oh,
then,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
so then from like when I was like 6 or 7 until a freshman in high school, I was Louis Lavulo.
Mm-hmm.
And then once, my school was like, yeah, that name doesn't exist. So,
Not on the birth certificate. The,
not
the
as,
legal
so,
name, man.
yeah, so then, yeah, I had to switch it. So I've been known as Louis Kapukapu ever since.
Oh,
And
nice.
now trying to add the name back in, it's like, dude, it's been like 30 years. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
might as well just keep the name. Like technically we are Lobulos, but we just don't carry the name.
No, to be honest, when I saw your email, I figured that was the case because, like, I've heard of that before. You know what I mean? But I didn't know you guys. I didn't know your pops put kap kapu as the on the birth certificate. That's cool though, man. That's good to know. You know, someone keeps that name because I know there's nothing but a bunch of women on the Lavulo side. You and
Well,
Kirk
it's
is like
because
the only ones alive now, right? And, oh, Eric.
why? No, you forgot about your uncle. His name is Kapu.
Oh yeah, yeah, couple in Hawaii, right? Is
Yeah,
he in Hawaii still?
yeah. And then your other uncle that you met on your mission,
Oh right.
he carries a
Arixanita.
Lobula. Yeah,
Yep.
but he carries a Lobula last name too. I
Hmm.
think my dad. The reason he did it is because he kept his dad's name, and then he kept when he got here. There's just so many of us.
Yep.
It's just it's just ridiculous. Like I'm still meeting Lovulos to this day.
Yep.
You know. Just like how you got to go meet Alexander on your mission. I never met that dude.
in New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, he's a cool dude. He's definitely looks like
I seen
his
a picture.
pops.
Monique
Yeah.
Monique took a picture and I was like, y'all twinning over there. Like
Yeah. Exactly, man. Hey, so where were you born? Were you born in the Bay?
Nah, so I was born in Salt Lake.
Oh, you're born in Salt Lake. Okay.
I was born in Salt Lake at Pioneer Hospital.
Yep. Yep.
And then moved around. We went from like West Valley to Fort South, and then my pops and your grandpa they left the state to go work.
Mm-hmm.
So then we moved in with them. So me and my grandma we moved in with your grandpa
Oh,
with
at
your
Fort
grandpa.
South, huh? The Fort South
hmm
house.
No, the Fort South house is me, my dad, and my grandma. Because my mom in like 87, no, not 87, she left to go back to Tonga and
Yep.
take care of my grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it's just me, my dad, and my grandma. And then we moved to Fort South. We were at Fort South before we moved to Sandy.
Oh, yep.
And then we moved to Sandy with Noli and them.
Oh, is this when they
And
had the
then,
house out there in like South Jordan or something, or Sandy?
yeah, it was in Sandy because like your mom and them, they stayed in Sandy like a couple different spots.
Mm-hmm.
But they stayed the spot we moved in, we were next to a high school. So then me, Bonnie, Saini, and your mom, we all just went to elementary school.
Yep.
Then we all picked up and moved back to Fort South.
Mm-hmm.
So then we all lived in Fort South. And then my pops was in the Bay working with one of the uncles. Oh, you probably remember him, Uncle Fahy.
Okay.
So they went from Arizona, and your grandpa came back to Utah, and then my pops and Fehi left. They went to the Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and then my pops he came back and visited a couple of times, and then one time I just jumped in with him and went to the Bay. I was like 8 years old
Mm-hmm.
because there's the '89 earthquake, and we
Oh,
couldn't
yep.
find that dude, so we couldn't find him. And then like we called all the Lavulos in the Bay. We called them.
This is your
It was
pops.
like, huh?
This is your pops that you guys were trying
Yeah,
to contact.
we're trying to contact because it was like the '89 earthquake. We didn't know where he was at. He finally called us at like midnight after the earthquake, after everything settled, and then yeah, this guy was fishing. He was in the middle of the bay.
Yep.
Him and some of the uncles they were on a boat fishing during the earthquake,
Uh-huh.
and he told us like he just looked up and he seen like the building shaking, but he didn't pay no mind to it.
Dang.
And then when they went back with their captions and everything, they went back and found out there was a big
Yep.
earthquake.
Yep.
So after the earthquake, he came to visit us in Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
So then in Salt Lake, when he came to visit, I ended up just jumping in with him and I bounced.
To the
So
Bay.
I left Salt Lake when I was like 8,
Mm-hmm.
and then ended up in the Bay and just barely left the Bay like 2020.
Yep.
So I've
Yep.
been in the Bay ever since.
Nah, I remember that. Hey, so I just want to talk to that a little bit because, man, growing up, I always heard stories from my aunt's perspective of like growing up with you, but like, how was that growing up with all my aunts?
Oh man, you're the only boy in a house full
Yeah.
of girls.
Uh
It's
huh.
just you're the one that gets picked on. So there's always stories of me and Vonnie fighting or me and Saini fighting. I'm always losing. And
Yep.
then but the good thing with them is when we went to school, like those girls had my back.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even like a thing. Like her, like because it was me, Saini, Vonnie, and then Anna Marie was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But we also went to school with one of your other aunties with Anne.
Oh, yep. Yep.
So yeah, so it was like when we went to school, they wouldn't let nobody pick on me except for them.
Yep. So the only bullies
So
were them, right?
the only bullies was them. And then when I left, and then every time I come back to like Salt Lake and Eva, we just it's like we never like parted.
Mm-hmm.
We just pick up where we left. You know, everybody's grown now. Everybody got kids, married and stuff. But it's back to like, hey, remember that one time when you got beat up? Yeah, I
Yep.
remember because you guys would never let me live it down.
Exactly, man. That's messed up, man. That's messed up.
It's all good. It comes with the territory
Yep.
because you're the only boy. Because it was the four girls. Because Too Tall wasn't there, so it
Yep.
was the four girls, your mom, and the other three, and then my grandma or our grandma Fatai, she was there, and then Noli Leti. So it's just me and Noli, like the only male
Yep.
people in this house.
Man, that's how I feel in my household now, man. Tama
Hey.
kwe finata. It's okay
Hey,
though.
like they say, the girls they come back and they talk to you. So
Yep. Yep.
hopefully it works
You're
out.
right. That's what my mom says, man.
Oh yeah, because you can see it with your aunties,
Yep.
because what does Kurt call them? Kurt calls them Noli's angels
Yep. That's
instead
right. That's
of
right. Yep. You're right about that, man.
so yeah, it was cool. Salt Lake was when we came back for Tutal's going away, like Force House still looked the same, Handy Pantry still looks the same.
Yeah, man.
My wife was like, "Can you show me?" I was like, "Yeah." The only thing that changed is the Franklin looks way better.
There's no more graffiti.
We were like, "Dang, why?" The creek still looks jacked up, but
Yep.
we're like, "Dang, they didn't want to fix the school up when we were there." Like
Hmm.
Franklin looks like a junior high now.
Yep. Yep.
And then Foss out there, the church that we went to, so we were not members. And then so your grandpa, he would wake up, take me and grandma to church, and
So
then
that
come back
corner
and get
church,
ready.
right?
Yeah, to Foss out there
Uh huh.
when it was still there. So he would take us there, and then we'd catch a ride home with like other church members.
Hmm.
Even though we lived down the street, my grandma was like, "Hey, can you guys just drop us off?" And we just catch rides home. But yeah, your grandpa made sure we made it to church.
Hmm.
Because if not, his mom probably would have knocked him out.
Oh, exactly, man. Man, I've heard stories. I've never, you know what I mean. I was too young to. She passed before I was born, but I've heard all the stories, especially from my dad too. So, man, appreciate you for sharing that. But I want to transition a little bit. Did you, in like when you guys were growing up, were you ever involved in like anything tech related at an early age, like gaming or like anything with the computer at that stage? Did you guys have one growing up?
Shanna, there was no computers in the 80s. The ones they had is the ones in the schools with the
Mm-hmm.
big floppy disk that was like this big.
Dang.
And then all they had on there was like Oregon Trail and Number Munchers. That's the only computers I remember.
Yep.
But me, I was the kid that always took stuff apart.
Okay.
So like I got in trouble for taking like my parents' radio. They had this radio. I took it apart. Couldn't put
Mm-hmm.
it back together for nothing.
Yep.
You know.
Just buying
So
Avade with the radio.
yeah, it's just like I took it apart, and then I was just wanted to see how it worked.
Yep.
And then yeah, nothing tech related. Like through like the 80s and 90s, you didn't really hear about tech. You didn't
Yep.
hear about like computers for rich people in schools.
Hmm. Were
you
you guys
know,
using the computers? Like, did they have computers in schools at that time period for
yeah,
like
but
students to play around with and stuff?
yeah, that's the one I was telling you about. So the floppy disk was this big,
Yep.
and you put it in. The floppy disk had games.
Oh, okay, that's where you guys are playing games at, huh?
Yeah, so it was a game called Oregon Trail, and then another game called Number Munchers.
Hmm.
But it was only like you get an opportunity to go on there if you're like you do good in class or something. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
a recess type deal.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not like we were like how the kids nowadays, like my son and them,
They weren't
they're
like
all
teaching you
working.
guys and stuff, right?
No, my son and them, they're learning on iPads and they're learning on Chromebooks,
Oh,
and
dang.
it was nothing like that. It was just
Hmm.
like you got to go on there if you were good. If not, go find a toy to play with.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know. But other than that, you probably seen those computers. It was like the old Macintosh with the when it boots
Yep.
is black and green. The text is black and green.
Hmm.
And that's the I guess the first exposure to computers that we got
At an early age, right?
at an early age.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, even when I went to like the Bay, it's the same thing. They had like the same old school Macintoshes and
Mhm.
um, nothing. Yeah, like because back in the '80s, the computers were like the size of houses.
Mhm. Yeah,
You
no,
know,
that's true. That's true.
where they had like they were whole server rooms.
Mhm.
Now they're server rooms, but back in the day, it was a whole computer.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know.
Now we can fit it in our pockets.
Yeah, exactly. Like we never thought about that when we were younger. Like
Mhm.
because you always hear the teacher, you're not gonna have a calculator with you, or you're not gonna have this with
Right.
you.
Exactly.
And now you look at it like, dude, it's all in my phone, like
Mhm.
with the internet and everything. So
Yep. Yep. So when you moved back to the Bay, did you go? You said junior high in Utah, or did you do junior high and high school in the Bay?
no, when I left Utah, I went to elementary school, junior high, high school, and college, all in the Bay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I went to elementary school like your mom and them went, or your grandma and them went to. I went to Rollingwood
Rolling Wood.
Elementary.
Yep. Yep. Did you go to Cap for high school?
Nah, we left Rollingwood and we moved to South City
Oh, okay. Okay.
when I was starting junior high. So I went to junior high in South City,
Yep. Yep.
junior high and high school. So
And then college. Where'd you go to college at?
it's a small school on the peninsula. It's called Menlo College.
Mm-hmm.
It's down the street from Stanford. It was a business school, but they had because you know how you go there, you're undeclared,
Right.
and
Right.
you got to
Right.
do your GE.
Yep.
So when I got there, did the placement test, and I had to do other math and English because I guess I messed up my SATs, or so I had to do like 2 years, a semester of like remedial English and remedial math
Yep.
because
Yep.
I didn't get placed.
Mm-hmm.
So there, I was just undeclared until after my freshman year, and then my counselor was like, "Dude, what do you like?" That school is a business school slash mass comm school.
Okay.
So I told him I'm interested in computers.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, "Okay, we have this major that you might want to take a look at." So my major in college was MIS,
Yep.
which was just you take a look at a company, see what kind of like hardware, software they need, and
Yep.
there's management information systems, and that's how I got exposed into like tech.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like anything early. Like they didn't have like how I was telling you Franklin is nice now.
Yeah.
They waited till all the people in our high school, like all the gangbangers, they waited till all the hooligans graduated, and then they
Then
forgot
they
like
put money into the school.
they put it money into the school, and now the school has a STEM program, and
Yep.
they're learning how to code and everything. We're like, dang, you just wanted to wait till all the hooligans are out,
It's
and
that
then
gentrification, man.
yeah, South City is very gentrified now. Like when I went back, I was like, man, this is a different city than what I grew up in.
Yep. Yep. Hey, so the management information systems, like when you went and met with the counselor and then you switched to that degree, what were the like technical? Because it's like I know it's like a business mix degree, right? So like, what were the tech courses you were taking during that degree?
Um, it's all stuff that's obsolete now. It
Mm-hmm.
was like we had to learn like the Microsoft suites. So we
Okay.
had to where we learned like Dreamweaver.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like I think it was Macromedia type
Yep.
where you do like 3D editing. Um, I had to take that class, and then I had to take a lot of like it's more of what we use AWS for now
Yeah.
is what they use Access for. It was like Microsoft Access for like
Okay, for cloud and stuff, right?
yeah. And then we had to take object oriented programming.
Oh man.
So it was like C or C plus.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I barely got out of those. Hey, they gave me a piece of paper said, "Hey, here's your degree that you paid for," and
Yep.
then
Yep.
you know, yeah. But that was on top of the business classes that I had to take. It was also like you mixed in like coding, like programming,
Yep.
and then like the Microsoft Access, the 3D stuff. We mixed all that in, but this was like early 2000. Like
Yep.
now when I look at systems and stuff, it's all plug and play now.
Yep.
So you don't really have to script it. You write a little script and the whole thing runs,
Yep.
or you just plug in what you need, leave what you don't, and you have your everything running. You know.
Hmm.
Um,
So back then, like, were there any Polynesians on campus, or like, were there any Polynesians in these classes you were taking, or were you like the only one going into these courses?
oh yeah, because so the polys we were all there to play football.
Right. Right. Right.
So, but a lot of them they were mass communication majors.
Hmm.
Some of them they went into business. They went into business admin.
Yep.
It was just in my class. It was just me.
Hmm.
Some of the classes, like the business classes, like there was polys in there, but that was part of their major too.
Yep. Yep.
But like the Dreamweaver class, um, the Microsoft Suites class, the object oriented class, that there was it was just me.
Hmm.
Oh, it was me and the Hawaiians.
Oh, okay.
Because there was some Hawaiians in my class too, but
Yep. Yep. You stay in
most
contact
of
with
the
any of them still?
nah, not really.
Hmm.
Because some of them left Hawaii,
Yep.
some of them live in Vegas now, some of them live in Oregon.
Hmm.
But yeah, but the polys were mostly one of your uncles.
Who's that?
I went to school with Billy
Oh, okay.
Kobusi.
Okay.
So my senior year in college, Billy just happened to come to our school. I was like, dude, Shanna, you were in college when I was in junior high. Like, how did you
How you
pull
still
this
in?
off? Because he came my senior year and we played.
Oh,
We played
dang.
together.
Dang. So
And I
he's
was
like a
like,
super senior,
yeah, I was like, dude. He was like, oh man, you got to learn how to use the shirts, the red
huh? The
shirts, the
red
purple. I
shirt,
was
gray
like,
shirt.
Shanna,
Man, how many shirts
dude.
are you doing, man?
Yeah, because I swear, when I was in junior high, that man was going to college in San Mateo.
Uh-huh. At San Mateo College.
Yeah, he was going to San Mateo College. And then now I'm in college and he's coming to college with me.
Yep, yep,
I was like, Shanna, what the
yep.
hell?
Exactly.
I was like, how does this work? And you need to teach me how to buck the system like that. Like,
Exactly, man. Hey, so like a big debate within like the industry is like degree or no degree. So like if you were to go back or advice to people that are trying to get into the career, how heavy do you think the degree weighs nowadays into like getting a job or just getting into the industry?
the crazy thing is, I tell my nephews, like, hey man, school ain't for everybody.
Exactly.
You know, what a degree shows is what I've learned from some of these recruiters because I've done a lot of contract work. What a degree shows is that you can sit there for 4 years and complete something and walk away with a piece of paper. So it
Right.
basically saying like you're coachable, but you know, to be honest, like I got my degree in 2003.
Mhm.
I still haven't used it.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, because when I graduated, I was already working, but I was working as like I was doing blue collar work.
Mhm.
I was driving trucks. I was loading docks with a degree.
So also this is
Some of
after you graduated,
after
right?
I graduated, yeah, you know, everybody thinks it's like you get a degree and then oh man, you got this, and this lined up.
Right,
No, not
right.
really. That's not how it works. I did my internship on campus and I
Mhm.
was in the computer lab helping people.
Yep.
And then I was working with the IT. Like my internship was all IT, but still, when I went out there, it was just like it says entry level, but it was like you had to have experience in this, and this. I was like,
Mhm.
shit, I just like you just ran into that too, but you
Yep.
had your internship to fall back on,
Yep.
and they ended up putting you on.
Right.
See, they didn't put me on, and went back to my job of driving forklifts and loading trucks, and then doing a lot of blue collar stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Even did some yate for a little bit.
Hey man, you gotta do what you
But,
gotta do.
but exactly, but they're like, but you know who's really heavy about it is the older generation,
Yeah.
because you know because we're all first gens. Me, your mom, we're all first gen.
Yep.
They came here and they're like, we wanted a better life for y'all,
Right.
and then we go and get this piece of paper, but we're still doing the jobs that they were doing.
Right. Yep.
They're like, how does that work? So in their eyes, they're like, you basically went here, got this piece of paper, you got all this poto. Why don't you use it?
Yep.
And then I'm like, uh, doesn't really pay like that if they're expecting this. They say entry level, but it's not.
Yeah, that's a big thing that they is kind of misleading at the beginning, right? Can you talk to
hmm
that a little bit, like that whole entry level, but you need 5 years of experience.
That's what I'm saying. Is the entry level stuff that people talk about. It's like these jobs is really when you're looking when you graduate, you gotta look for something that says like just graduated or fresh out of college. They think it's entry level, but it's not. They're like, oh, do you have 2 years in this? Obviously not, lady. Like, I just came out. I just fresh out of school.
Yep.
You know, so
How you gonna expect experience? I just graduated.
I just graduated, but yeah, but the whole time I had a job, I was like I'd go work on the weekends, or during the off season, I was still working on the weekends.
Yep.
You know, so when I graduated, I still had that job, but it was just like just to pay,
Yep.
help my parents pay bills and stuff,
Right.
just to survive. Because that piece of paper really didn't. It looks good on the resume,
Yep.
to be short,
Mhm.
which is the sad part. Because the question that you just asked is degrees or certs, like which one outweighs. It depends. I've worked with directors that said if they come across a resume that has an alphabet on there,
Yep.
they'll skip it.
Mhm.
Is because they said anybody that just goes and just gets certs just to get certs,
Mhm.
they're like, we don't want those people.
Right.
And
Right.
then I worked with people that actually just they were hackers.
Mhm.
They they were self taught, no certs. Um, but our director was like, I picked him up because he learned everything on the fly. He didn't have to go sit in courses.
Yep.
He could do a degree and get that.
Mhm.
Like he said I would take degrees over certs and the alphabet, and I would also take life experience over a degree and certs,
Right. Right.
which is crazy
Yep.
because that's what the whole expectation is that everybody is you're always ingrained in that.
Yeah.
Oh, go to college, go to college, go to
Yep.
college. But then sometimes you look is college isn't for everybody.
Yep.
You know, sometimes people look down on the trade. Sometimes it's like, dude, the trades is cool.
Yep.
Like when I graduated, my cousins in there, they barely started into the trades.
Mhm.
They were all electricians. They were like, hey man, you good at math? Come try the trades. I was like, oh, hell, bro. Yeah, I was like, oh nah, I got this job lined up. They're like, now they're all retired.
Yep. Yep.
They're all retired electricians, and they're putting on the younger generation.
Yep.
See, but me, just being me, is just hell here and there. Like, oh, no, it's good. Like, it's like if I would have listened, maybe I would have been in the trades.
Yep.
But I told my cousin, that I was like, Shana, I'm not good at math.
Yep.
He was like, he was like, can you add? I was, I was like, yeah. But I don't know about climbing them ladders. I'm a big dude. Like
Right. Right. Right.
climbing them ladders, kapag todo, yeah, it's a wrap.
La man, que esto es trades, aún.
Yeah, go trade for the Mahaki and they, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, a lot of the cousins they were in trades, and yeah, trades is cool too. But the way people set it up is they think they try to push everything as college this, college that.
Mhm.
Like all right, you went to college and then you come back and you're stuck again.
Right, right.
Like, it's just like, what the heck? What am I supposed to do now?
Yeah. Hey, no, but that's a great point you bring up because, like, I think, I'm trying to inspire people too, like, who are trying to make a switch in their careers. Like, what was that process like from you working in the trades to finally landing like your first tech role? Like, what was that like? That process?
The funny thing is the way I got into like the game industry. Like you wouldn't even you'd probably hear stories like you wouldn't even hear that story because the way I got in is by who I knew.
Mm-hmm.
So we were running. So I went from like loading docks, like doing blue collar stuff, and then I just ended up, what everybody does. We started bouncing at clubs,
Mm-hmm.
started working at clubs, running security, and then one of the clubs I was working at, it just happened to be one of the homies. He worked for PlayStation.
Oh, dang! It's the plug right there, man.
Yeah, so that's how I got like my first role into like tech
Mm-hmm.
is by bouncing. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like people you know.
Yep.
Like he was at PlayStation. I think he's still there.
Uh huh.
And this is from like 2004.
What was
And
he
I
doing?
think he's still there. He was actually on the other side. He wasn't on like where the games are at.
Uh huh.
He was actually like in like HR type. He was on that
Oh,
side.
okay, okay.
But he just happened to like he kept coming to the club we worked at. It was in Birmingham.
Uh huh.
He just kept coming, and then my other homie that was running the club, he decided to put him on.
Mm-hmm.
So he came on like one or two nights and just wore a shirt and just chilled.
Mm-hmm.
But he was there every night, just getting drunk. So the homie was like, "You might as well just come and get paid since you're here every
Yep.
night."
Yep.
Yeah, but that's how I got exposed. So it goes back. It ties into what we were saying. Like, okay, you got degrees, you got certs and this, but
Yep.
it also comes back to like who you network with, who you associate with,
Yep.
and it just happened that my homie put me on, and then I got a contract with PlayStation to testing their games.
Oh, nice. So
You know,
what year was this that you landed this contracting role with PlayStation?
it was like '04. It's
Uh huh.
about 20 years ago.
Yep.
It was 20 years ago. Got my first contract job. And the way the contracts work is so every game company is different.
Yep.
So if you get a contract with a company, because we used to hear like EA,
Yeah.
everybody's everybody was like, "Oh, you work at EA, this and that." EA's contract system is kind of messed up because if you're on like a big title, like if you're on like Madden
Mm-hmm.
or if you're on what is that Battlefield, if you're on like these games,
Yep.
and when they push out that game for like the holidays, your contract is done.
Oh,
So then you're
during the holidays?
yeah. So your contract when the game is pushed out, your contract is done.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought it would pick up during that time, but it makes sense because they want you
No,
guys testing beforehand, right?
yeah. So everything. So in the industry is everything is done before
That makes
November
sense.
or like this month and next month is like the big pushes to release for holidays, and then a lot of the companies are closed down
Yep.
for like starting end of November, like Thanksgiving into January.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, like the company I work for is a mobile company,
Uh huh.
so they have to have everything submitted by mid December. If not, it's not going to make the deadline. So then in mid January, that's when Apple opens back up.
Mm-hmm.
So then they'll have to wait until mid January to submit.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, usually from September until September, October is like the busy month, and then it kind of slows down, like dies down.
Yep. So in that role, what was the role? The name of that role?
Which one? Oh, my first role,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I was a QA tester.
Oh, okay. And then did you make a switch from that to cybersecurity, or what was like how'd you lead up into your current position?
Man, that's even crazier. Well, it's not even crazier. It's like so I was testing. I went from like one game company to another game company, and then this other game company I was with back in like 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was weird because it's contract work, so you work for a year and then you have to take 3 months off.
Yep.
So like those 3 months, I was doing something else. I was like driving trucks with my homies,
Mm-hmm.
doing deliveries, and then go back. Um, but I was with another game company, and then we all there was a big rift,
Mm-hmm.
so they got rid of a lot of divisions, and I got hit in one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing with the tech industry is um, there's always a rift.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a reduction in force, and you never know who's gonna hit. You can see it now,
Right.
like
Right.
I think what you call it, Cisco is they're laying off a bunch of people
Yep.
as we speak.
Yep.
Um, and I think that's more during the pandemic. Everybody overinflated,
Yeah.
and then now is the recourse that's
Yep.
happening.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was working for another game company, got hit, and then there's a new game company that came on the scene. They were looking for people. They were hiring everybody and anybody with game testing experience.
What was the name?
Zynga.
Oh, Zing. Oh, okay. Okay.
So when I got laid off, I had an interview with them that next day after my layoff.
Yep.
And I go there, and half of the people that we got hit in the layoff with were all over there.
So you guys were they like were you guys competing or like they were hiring at that time?
No, they were hiring
Oh, okay. Okay.
because they just came onto the scene and they were looking for everybody with game testing experience.
Yep. Yep.
So I go to one of their open houses, have a bunch of resumes in my hand. I go and then like they're like, hey, this department does this department does that. So I go throw in my res and like the QA testing. I never tested mobile before.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, I did because I left the mobile company. Um, but what you call it? Um, yeah, we go there. They're looking for testers with mobile experience.
Yep.
So when we got there, this open house, it was like, hey, this department, they're what you call it, their localization. All they do is translate, translate the game. This is the QA, and then there just happened to be this the way the QA director said it. It was kind of like piqued my interest.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, oh, this team over here, they're the ones that hacks our games.
Oh, dang.
So I was like, wait, hold on, hacks?
Yep. Yep.
The hell? Okay, so I go over there, throw my res in. I guess I was one of the only people that went to that team because I looked at that team as one dude. He was sitting there in a hoodie and just chilling, and
Yep.
and nobody really went there and turned. So I went and turned my resume in, and I got like 3 days later, I got a call back.
Mm-hmm.
So I came there. It was weird because it was one director. He wanted to interview me for just like a regular QA tester role.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was this other manager. He was the manager of the hacker team. And he wanted to interview me because they were
Yep.
looking for people with mobile experience. So I was like, cool. So I went there, did my interviews, and then I got picked up by the hacker team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like that was my segue of leaving testing
Uh huh.
and doing security testing.
Yep. Yep. And what was the role that you landed there? Was that your first introduction to the SOC or?
No, no. That was basically that's the role that turned into red team.
Okay.
Because basically they were the ones that tear the game apart
Yep.
by running it through proxies
Oh, okay. Okay.
and editing like the JSONs, editing everything,
Yep.
trying to have it stick to the server and unlock everything.
Bef-
So I ended up joining that team,
yep.
and
Yep.
that was kind of that's what I learned. Like cybersecurity is a different world compared to what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a funner world. It was. I'm still in that world, and it's funner because it's always changing.
Yep. Right. Right.
You know. You're always learning something.
Mhm. Hey, can you speak to that a little bit about what red teaming is for like folks who don't know? Because a lot of our community, you know, what I mean, they hear red team, they probably think that's like Mate Matonga playing. You say red team, they probably think Mate Matonga or Karetahi's to play a game. So, can you speak to what red teaming is a little bit,
So
and
red
blue teaming as
teaming,
well?
yeah. So red team, they technically, basically, they're the hackers. They're the ones that go and penetrate systems and see if there's any exposures to the company's system, the company's apps, the company's. So they're the ones that basically break everything, and then they have to write a report saying like, "Hey, you guys need to fix this, this, and that." Send it to the team, and then either the team has the purpose to fix it, or they're going to accept the risk. And that's a different. When it comes to cybersecurity, there's like so many like um, what's that? There's a lot of domains when it comes to
Right, right,
cybersecurity.
yep,
Um, there's a lot of disciplines. But red team is you also hear them as penetration testers.
yep,
That's another aspect of red team. They're the ones. There's basically in general they're just the hackers.
hmm
They're the ones that they'll look at the code, take a look at and see if there's any code that's written incorrectly that that will potentially lead to a hacker coming in through the front door, back door, side door, along
window,
those lines.
outdoors.
Window.
Yep,
And
yep.
then to speak on the blue team side,
Thought
the blue
some
team
more.
side, yeah, five side more.
Thought some more.
When we're on that, when you're speaking of the blue team side, they're basically the defenders. They're the front line, first line of defense. If they see anything suspicious when they're in their logs, they're alerting. They're reacting to what they're seeing in the logs. So if they see a red team or a hacker, a penetration tester, they see that kind of activity, the blue team is the one that basically has to try to find them, get rid of them, and make sure everything is secure before they can move on. Yeah, so it's kind of like Crips and Bloods. It's basically that because
Mali, Crips and Bloods.
it's basically two sides of you're either on the dark side, which they call the red team, or you're on the light side, the blue team, where some people might call it that. That's how I just look at it.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, it's you're either a defender or you're an attacker.
hmm
To put it simply,
Yep. And then what's your role right now that you're in? Is it still
I'm on
considered
the blue team.
blue team?
I'm still blue team. So I went from red team and then got caught in another riff. It comes
hmm
with the territory of being in tech.
Yep.
Got caught in another riff. I ended up at went back to testing. I went to Hulu. I was working at IGN and all on contracts. And
hmm
then I came back to Zynga. Zynga was looking for testers again. They were
hmm
looking for, but this time they were looking for experienced testers
Yep.
to test the new game that they're about to put out.
hmm
And then when I came back, I was on that team for like a year. And then my old team found out I was back. So they were like, we have to get him back in security
Yep.
because he has a security background. We don't have to train nobody.
Right.
He has the knowledge of red team, blue team, and then the opening in blue team opened up, and the manager, she was my old manager. She was a old colleague that was still there, and she was like, "Hey, I got this spot opened up. It's back in cybersecurity. It's not on the red team side. I know that's the side that you're on. Um, you want to come and learn some blue team?"
Yep.
I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Yep.
I was like, I just wanted to be back in cybersecurity because when you get exposed to that world,
Exactly.
when you get exposed to that world, it's like you go back and then you're just back to running test plans. Like,
hmm
yeah, that's kind of tedious and redundant, But when you're on when you're back in cybersecurity, it's a whole different world.
Right.
It's just everything's. You see the other side. Everything that people see on the news is like just the high level,
Mm-hmm.
but then you see like everything that's happening behind it.
Yep.
Like, hey, this company got taken down. They got exposed. This is what happened, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like some kid just chilling in his mom's basement ran a script and took down the company. you
Right.
know.
Right. Right. Hey.
So
So.
yeah, as of now, I'm still on the blue team side.
Yep.
I am the SOC lead, so I got to make sure everything runs correctly.
Yep. Hey. So speak to that. Like, what does the SOC mean? Like I said, I'm just trying to help people understand what some of the terminology we're talking about before they had to SOC and they say do so token or something.
Yeah, so the SOC, it stands for Security Operations Center. So they are the blue team that I was speaking about a little bit earlier.
Yep.
They are the defenders. So my team is basically we're looking we have tools in place. So anything that's suspicious, it gets alerted on.
Yep.
So then my team has to go and review the alert and see if it's actually a legitimate attacker or if it's just somebody a legitimate attacker from the outside, somebody messed up on the inside, or it's just somebody that was changing some code or changing something on their end in their tools. That's why it's triggered. So
Yep.
yeah, just everything flows through the Security Operations Center. We work with a lot of disciplines in cybersecurity, and then we work with a lot of external teams, like the teams that make the games or the teams that make the apps, because that's our bread and butter right there. They're the ones. The games is our panque.
Yep.
They're the bank. So we got to make sure the bank is still making money,
Protected.
so we can,
Yep.
vahe,
Yep. 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 Hey, giba he mai go giba sheniti.
Siana. Ke kau koe he kau taha lalahi I Amerikani ke kore mai
Hey.
ki kau taha pinati ko ni siana.
Hey, but also to that point, what tools and technologies do you use on a daily basis for people who are
Man,
curious, like what it's like to work on the blue team, or even when you were on the red team? What are some common tools you use?
man. So common tools on a daily basis for the red team side. Um, if you're coding, you'll be able to script. They have these tools called like Burp Suite.
Yep.
They have a tool called Charles Proxy. They would always make fun because in the corporate world, I use my government name, so I'm Charles.
Uh.
I'm Charles Kapukapu, and they're like, "Hey, Charles, use your tool,
Oh, Charles
Charles
Proxy. Yep.
Proxy, to run and check this game." I'm like, you get tired of hearing it, but yeah. So Charles Proxy, they use that for man in the middle attacks.
Yep.
So basically, these tools sit in between the endpoint or the device and the server,
Hmm.
and you can view all the traffic. You can edit any traffic. Anything that's sticks to the server is basically written back into the server,
Yep.
and you found like an exploit.
Which one did you prefer using, like Burp Suite or Charles, or was it? Does it? Because I've only used Burp in like on my computer and stuff, but does it? Was one work better on like mobile testing when you're doing that kind of stuff, or like which
Uh,
one? You know what I
Both
mean?
tools they worked well when it came to testing. Burp Suite uh, came with a warning. Like our director is like, "Hey, we're gonna let you use this tool, but you can actually knock a server over with this tool. You
Okay.
can do it with Charles too if you
Yeah.
overload it.
Hmm.
But with Burp Suite, they have like the spider tool, they have like the fuzzing tool,
Yeah. Yeah.
all
Yep.
built in. So yeah, they told us to be careful. Another tool that people use or is widely used is Wireshark.
Yep.
That's basically just looking at all the traffic,
Hmm.
all of it. It doesn't matter what it is, telephone, computer. It's monitoring all the traffic that you set it to. That's from the red team side. From the blue team side, we use a lot of Splunk.
Okay. Yep.
Um, We oh, you know that tool that took down everything?
CrowdStrike.
Yeah, we use CrowdStrike.
Oh dang, man.
So we use CrowdStrike. A lot of the other teams that I've seen, they've used Sentinel One,
Yeah.
same thing
Yep.
that CrowdStrike does. Um, what else? They're called SIMs. So we use a SIM and we use a SOAR. You know, there's an orchestrator, which is the SOAR, and then the SIM is like where all the logs are at.
Yep.
Um, so that's Splunk. What else we use from blue
So do you
team
guys
side?
have to go through and like review that stuff, or does is there some is the that's what the is that what the sword does? From my like understanding, because I haven't used those tools before, but I've heard them. So like,
So Splunk is like whatever logs that you're looking for.
mm-hmm.
Um, they will be in Splunk. Uh,
Okay.
and then the SOAR is just like everything gets ingested. So all your tools go ingest into the SOAR. They'll create the alerts, and then you work out of the SOAR.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else we use? So the main so I don't know if you know this since you're in the industry, but for your fans and stuff, they always say your weakest link when it comes to a computer or your company is your user, is
Yep.
your employee.
Exactly.
So we also deal with a lot of phishing. Uh, another part of cybersecurity is um, emergency response. Those are the people that are threatening your company with
Mm-hmm.
like bomb threats, death threats. Um, they're threatening each other in the game. Uh, and then you have another one. A part of the cybersecurity is called BDCR, is disaster recovery.
Oh,
So
yep.
if something happens to like
Earthquakes or
something,
something.
yeah, earthquakes, hurricanes, there's a team that has to make sure that the servers are secure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if that does happen, floods. So yeah, cybersecurity is all different. There's people on our team, they just like to read policies
Yep.
and governance
GRC.
and GRC. And I'm like, I'm good with that.
I know, man. That's
Like you gotta do. There's a lot of reading when it comes to that.
yo.
Um, but yeah, those are the main tools from the SOC. You're always any SOC you're gonna run into. You either work with a SIM, that's SIEM, or you're gonna have a SOAR tool.
Mm-hmm.
And Splunk is one of the biggest SIMs that we use. Um, a lot of companies use Splunk. AWS
Yep.
is another. I don't know how familiar you are with when it comes to like AWS.
No, a little bit.
Yeah, so AWS, because everybody's like they're juiced. They're like, oh man, it's in the cloud. You
Yeah.
said that at the beginning of this interview. You're like, you gotta wait till the cloud. You gotta wait
Uploads
till it
everything.
uploads to the
Yep.
cloud, and people are like, yeah, people think the cloud is like,
The
oh,
safest
it's just
place on.
this thing that sits up in the atmosphere like the name, not knowing that the cloud is a server probably down the street from the
Yep.
house.
Exactly.
you know,
Yep.
but yeah, we deal with a lot of cloud. We deal with a lot of yeah, that tool. We were laughing. I was laughing because it happened. I was on vacation,
Yep.
and CrowdStrike took everything down. And then when I went back, um, it took some of our games
Oh
down.
dang. Yep.
But everybody, they panic because that's what the news does.
Right.
It's
Right.
like, oh man, we're being attacked. They attacked our airports. No, if you look into it, this is the thing I was telling you about. When you look into it, and it was either a kid that was sitting in their parents' basement just messing around with, scripts.
Yep.
But this one was on the company, and they were just updating their firmware.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So so and then now we are focusing on Purple Team,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you do a lot of Purple Team. Purple Team, for your viewers, is the combination of Red Team and Blue Team.
Yep.
So we ran our first Purple Team exercise, and we found uh, gaps that need to be addressed.
Yep.
when it comes to attackers. It's more addressed on our end on the SOC is because stuff was missed,
Mm-hmm.
and it was missed because we didn't have the proper tools in place or the proper logging in place, and that's usually the cybersecurity side of the house where it's like, hey, we don't have these in place. We got to put them in place because it's you probably heard this is defense in depth.
Yep. Yep.
So you got to have your firewalls set, and then your next level all the way down until you think it's protected, and then there's like a back door.
Yeah.
So
Hey, so talk a little about like the life in your day to day life as a like SOC, working in the SOC, right? You're a SOC lead, so like give people a picture of what that looks like, because I know it's not easy working in the SOC from my experience hearing about people working in the SOC, right?
what are you on the engineering side? Psycho.
Nah, nah. I work right now. Ours it's misleading because my position says security operation analyst, but more so like a security engineer because we don't actually work in the SOC. I think the HR people when they're coming up with the name, sometimes they just it's whoever filtered the name to them. But
Yeah, because I know because my title in HR is senior cybersecurity analyst.
right, right,
So a life in the SOC is it varies.
hmm
It varies from day to day. So what was it? We come in. It depends like how much if there was any alerts. So I think it was a few weeks ago we came in. I logged on and there was like 3,000 alerts,
yo, dang,
and then but our SOC is 24/7.
yeah,
So it's a 24/7 SOC. There's somebody always on hands on keyboard
yep,
responding to this. So like as of now, one of my teammates they're on right now. Um, we are 24/7. We can get called at any time,
hmm
no matter where we're at. We can. I've been called at like 2, 3 in the morning to address something that came in
yep,
um, that was potentially malicious. Um, but a life in the SOC is one day you come in, you see 3,000 alerts. You have to look at all 3,000 and see what happened, what needs to be done, who needs to be contacted,
yep,
and how can we remediate it.
hmm
And that's just the ongoing cycle of the SOC. Alerts come in, we have to address them.
hmm
Reports come in from employees, from our own team, our external teams. They're like, "Hey, I seen this. Can you guys look at it?" And then we have to dig in. We have to investigate it, see if it's actually like legitimate, or if it's just, "Hey, this is what happened. Uh, you need to contact this team and have them fix it." So it's basically we're just playing like volleyball.
yep.
They hit it
Oh,
to us.
volleyball.
Tayo ko now give volleyball lah, you know
Eh,
what I'm saying?
Kaya lava
But
po na tayo ni
tayo ni Mio kay tango to siya
tangut
ka.
tu tangut siya.
Mga de halo fenga ay Mio kay kamamong ay pickleball. We
Ha
have
ugod ako,
pickleball.
ha ugod. Ha ugod ako.
Go para pickleball. Gotta go take lessons from your auntie Monique and stuff.
Oh, dang, man.
But yeah, the life in the day in the SOC is everything. We just come in expecting a big fire.
Mhm.
So it can be either from our tools, our users, email. We've had there's been threats, not threats. There's been imposters of like people impostering our CEO.
Yep,
There's another CEO. People receiving texts. So when I said that every day is a learning experience when in cybersecurity, is because you never know what you're going to come into,
yep, yep,
and it's because I kind of view it like um, like prisoners. Like the guards go home after their shift, but the prisoners have 24 hours to figure out how to get the guards. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically,
Molly.
yeah, that's how you view it
I like
because
that. I like that.
the hackers, they don't have a time limit of
You're
how
right.
they're
Yep.
gonna attack you.
Hmm.
Your shift ends after your 8 hour shift, your 12-hour shift, and then you go home. But then the hackers, especially like the hungry ones, the state attackers, the state actors, some of them is probably their livelihood.
Yep.
That's how they're gonna eat.
Hmm.
So they're gonna be out there hungry, trying to figure out how to break into your company. So
Man.
ours just ends. Like my shift ended yesterday, and now chilling on the weekend. But I can get called in like, hey, this is happening.
Yep.
You got to jump on. Them people are getting reports. Like our red team is constantly getting reports every day
Hmm.
from researchers trying to get their bug bounty.
Yep. Yep.
I remember you were doing bug bounties for a while too.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to get back into it, but man, it's just one of those things. It's like it's a time thing. You're not it's unpaid labor until you get that bug. So, and even if you get that bug, it might be a duplicate, man. Most but the learning experience is what I like that I gained the most from that. Even though I was trying to get into it for the money at the beginning, because like you hear bug bounty, but I don't realize that it's most of these people have a lot of experience, you know what I mean, in the bug bounty world. So I'm gonna
All
try
you
to get
gotta
back
do is
into it
just
though.
go pick a. You just gotta pick. So it depends on the company. I've seen I've seen researchers. They came and did our bug bounty back when I set it up back when I was still on red team,
Yeah.
and all they were like mad because all they would get is their name on our bug bounty.
Yeah.
Like they'll get their name on our website, and then we'd send them like a T-shirt or something. So they would get pissed. They would get
Yeah,
really pissed. They're like, dude, I did all this work, da da da.
yeah,
And then our bug bounty program switched is where, depending on the severity, like they can actually make money.
yep, yep,
And that's what a lot of these people do is because like I've heard of like other companies that have like, hey, if you find a bug, we'll give you 30 racks.
yep. Dang, man. I was
You
trying to
know,
get that, but I was like getting duplicates and good luck, buddy. Try again harder next time. Nah, but I loved it for the experience though, you know what I mean? Because that was like my first exposure to hacking where I didn't have to have like an actual role, but get into and for
no,
those who
because
don't
that's
know bug bounty is basically the program or a company will like put out these dollar amounts, and if you find a vulnerability on their website, they'll pay you out for that specific vulnerability. So Kaikoi Kumi bugs, it's a bug bounty. Just you're looking for bugs on like a website or a platform, a company's platform.
yeah, and I've heard of people that that's what they do for a living.
Yeah, man.
And but it goes back to what I was telling you. Like researchers that do that on a daily, they have all the time in the world
Yep.
to continuously attack these companies, and that's why every time they show up, and every time you turn on the news, it's like, hey, this company got exposed. Hey, this company got exposed is because of bug bounties and
Hmm.
people that actually want to figure out like like um like the newest thing that company's doing, or it all comes down to information when they
Right.
when they want to when they want to jacket a company,
Hmm.
or they just want to go after the company because they don't like them.
Hmm.
And I know that they come after y'all company a lot
Yeah, definitely. Man, they
because
just did
of
it a couple weeks ago, man. We're switching our communications over to something else. Because
okay, whatever y'all do, don't use hip chat. I wouldn't use hip chat if I were you.
yeah,
And then I would not use. Man, when I first started with this company, we used Skype.
yeah,
But
man.
Skype was so vulnerable. It's so vulnerable. It's not even funny.
It makes sense though, because early on that was the technology before what we have nowadays, right? So,
Oh yeah. So we had Skype, and then we switched to HipChat, and now everything is in Slack.
yep, yep. So that's what we're switching from.
You're switching from Slack.
It got breached. It got breached.
Oh, y'all's got breached.
Yeah, us. We got breached. We got breached internally. But that's all public info. So it's all public information about like last month. You know how it
but
is though.
yeah, but it probably like I didn't hear about it or I didn't read about it, but it's probably because somebody shared something in their Slack
Yeah.
externally, and yeah,
Nah, someone was actually they were playing games and then they fell for a phishing. One of the I think it was a dev. I gotta look back in the story, but I was reading the article. I was like, dang man, this fool fell for like simple tokens. It was like win or click on this
yeah,
for like 500 tokens.
that's what I'm saying. It's that's what I was saying earlier. The weakest link is your employee.
Yep.
Everybody thinks it's like, when they see the hacker movies, it's like, oh, like this screen, they have all the screens running and they have all the code running, and I'm like, when I joined like the red team, I was expecting that.
Yeah.
I
No,
was
same here.
expecting.
Same here.
I was like, hey, I want to be a hacker.
Yep. Yep.
I go in there and it's like you're literally looking at a black screen with a bunch of green text, white text running, and you got to like look at it like, oh snap, like what's going on?
Yep.
It's not. They make it so. That's why everybody want to be a hacker because they make it look so cool in the movie
Yeah.
world.
Hmm. Exactly, man. Until they have to start doing the stuff. Hey, so to that point, because back back then when you were getting into industry, they didn't have like try hack me or hack the box. So like most of your experience was just on through work, right? That's how you're learning most of these things.
Man, everything tech related is just everything I learned on the job.
Hmm.
That's why when you told me like, "Hey, I'm switching my major and I'm gonna go after the cyber," I was like, "Dude, you're actually going like the right way." And I came in from the Matapasio Ata and jumped through.
No, but most of the time, early in the early days, that's how you had to go because they didn't really have cybersecurity degrees, did they? Like
Nah,
it wasn't as big as it
I,
is
I,
now, right?
yeah, I didn't really hear about it because the school I went to, it was mass comm business. You
Business
didn't
school,
really hear
yeah.
about it about like cyber plus. Like I don't know if you ever gone to any of the conferences yet,
Nah,
um, but you should check them out because it'll open your eyes up even more of like what the heck is really going on.
yep,
Like I remember I was talking to Saini, and Saini was trying to tell me to do like, hey, send it through this, or so I was like, I'm good.
yep.
She was like, why? I was like, oh, because that company that you're trying to use right now, they got
Got
popped.
hacked. They got.
And she was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "I would change my information in there,
Yep,
and I would like take all your credentials off of there." Um, yeah, I think it was like Venmo or something. She was like, "You can Venmo." I was like, "Nope, don't use Venmo.
yep, yep.
I don't use that." She was like, "What world?" And I told her the one year we went to DEF CON.
Dang, man, that's what I'm trying to get to. Next year is DEF CON. Man. We gotta go together or something when you're free, man.
no, Stalangaking, I'll go Shaya Hipuna. So they
Oh,
don't make me go
okay,
to.
okay.
But they're like, "You want to go to DEF CON?" I was like, "Yeah, Vegas is like 4 hours away. I'll drive over there." They was like, "No, Charles, you're not driving anywhere. You either got to fly there
Yep.
and go to your room." But yeah, I've been to DEF CON a couple of times. But one year, somebody hacked the 4G.
Hmm.
So everybody that was using their 4G, because it was 4G at the time, so
Yep.
everybody that was using their mobile phones, they got everybody's information.
Hmm.
And the thing about DEF CON, when we went, it was uh, Vegas becomes level orange warning, because all these hackers, you have to pay in cash.
Dang.
I seen somebody. I've sat in a talk where some dude, he just stuck a card, programmed it. It was like that scene from Terminator where the kid stuck a
Yeah,
card in. He did that at DEF CON.
that's
He brought
crazy,
an
man.
ATM, like reprogrammed the ATM, and money flew out.
Dang, man.
And
Where
then,
were
and
we
then
at, man? We
another.
should have been. Where were we at that day?
Oh no, it was, he had, because he asked the ATM company to bring him an ATM so he could work on it.
Oh, just like a proof of concept.
Yeah, it was a proof of concept. So yeah, and then another DEF CON. I went to two DEF CONs. The second one I went to, I wanted to go, is because they hacked the cars.
Hmm.
So if you had Uconnect in your car,
Oh, yep, I heard about that.
they could basically, while you're driving, they can disable your brakes,
Yep.
or
Dang,
they could disable your system.
that's
And then
crazy.
they actually, at that same dude, he figured out how to, those electric skateboards. He figured out how to sit there in the same vicinity and take over the skateboard and make somebody fly off.
That's crazy, man.
And I've also, I, a lot of the red team members I worked with. One of them, I forgot his name, but he figured out how to hack pacemakers.
Damn, when they get to that
So
stuff, man.
yeah, so he did a talk at I think it was Black Hat or DEF CON
Yep.
of how to hack the he did that talk live for us, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing the same talk at DEF CON." So when we went to DEF CON, he was basically telling them like, if you find somebody with a pacemaker, you can actually just kill them. I was
That's
like,
crazy.
where do you just sit in your room thinking about this, or like,
Yo, man must
So
got a lot of time on your hands if you're doing that, man.
yeah, but DEF CON, yeah, you should. Well, it's changed because we went to like DEF CON 20.
Yeah,
It's changed. It's gotten a lot more family friendly
yeah.
because we seen the last DEF CON I went to, we seen they have like kids, like these kids presented on how to hack whatchamacallit, Candy Crush.
Oh, damn.
They
Yep.
they found a zero day
Zero
in
day.
Candy Crush, and they presented it at DEF CON. So when we went back, I was over there messing around with my clock, changing time, getting tickets.
Dang, so you was racking up all the points on Candy Crush.
Hell yeah! And then the little kids she printed, they have like Kid Village.
Yep.
DEF CON is it really show you because they have this game. I don't know if they still do it now, but it's called Find the Fed.
Hmm.
So if you're walking around, because that's where the government goes to try to recruit talent.
No, that makes sense because man, after getting into the industry, you you look, you see more insights to like what the government does in terms of cybersecurity because they're definitely recruiting a lot on
Oh
this
yeah,
end.
being in this industry as long as I have been in, um, I've worked with people that have come from Homeland Security. They've come from the NSA.
Dang.
They're all ex-military,
Yep. Yep.
and like my director right now, he's a retired Air Force.
Yep.
Um, and that's one of my other coworkers. He was he almost ended up in the FBI.
Dang.
So yeah, you'll meet a lot of people from different walks of life in this
Hmm.
industry. So find the Fed is if you can spot. I seen it when I went. You could tell who was a Fed because
At
they
DefCon.
have that. Yeah, they have like that military presence.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like we were standing there and we were looking around like find the Fed, and like two people behind us, you could tell. I was like, dude, that's a military dude. I think
Yeah.
he's a Fed because he was poco with the sunglasses
Suit.
and like no suit, but you could tell he was like former military, t-shirt tucked in.
Oh, yep. Yep.
It
Just
was like,
clean.
oh
Clean.
man, yeah, he was
Clean
like
cut and
clean.
everything.
I was like, you ain't no hacker. Like, who are you here to recruit?
You an
What
imposter.
yeah, exactly. I was like, what alphabet agent are you from?
Yo.
Like, you know, are you hiring? Like,
Recruit me now.
no, that's why I was surprised when you're at the DoD company.
Yeah. Yo. Nah, because they recruit heavily from our school. So that's how I landed that gig. But like it's exactly to what you said. Like they're the biggest recruiters. I feel like aside from your like the tech companies that you initially think of, right? The governments was definitely recruiting. So if you're trying to get into the industry, check out some government jobs.
No, because I always get postings because the company's right here down the street.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
I always see these postings, and they're like, you have to have this clearance. I'm like,
yeah.
clearance?
Yep.
Man, that sounds so suspect. Like,
Nah.
miss me with that. Like, you have to have like level 0 clearance. You can't talk. I was like,
Let's just say when they did the background check on me, that mug was way more than your regular background check.
oh yeah, I bet. Because like
Yep.
some of the people I worked with, they came from those types of jobs. They were
Mhm.
working with like NSA. They had like in the movies where you see where you walk in a conference room and you hit a switch
Yep.
and like the windows go black, like
Oh yeah. Yep.
gray, and like it becomes like soundproof.
Yep.
They
Yep.
were telling us like that's where the term cone of silence, because
Yep.
that's actually you walk into a room, you have to hit a switch,
Yep.
and it plays like white noise outside, and like the windows go gray. I'm like, man, that's scary. Like I'm not, if you
Yeah,
catch
no,
me
I've
in a
been
room
in
like
similar rooms like that.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like in DOD, like,
Yeah, it's no joke when it comes to that stuff.
but then the crazy thing is, you could tell. So one of my coworkers, he was like, one of his homies worked for like Homeland,
Yeah.
and then a tech company came in and was like, "Here, we'll give you this,"
Hmm.
and he was like, "Peace out, Homeland. I'm about to go run this. He's gonna be a CISO over here. I forgot what company it
Oh
was."
dang.
He's like, but he's already did his time at Homeland. He did his, I think, 20 years,
Yep.
and now he's making like six figures, almost seven figures,
Hmm.
running this tech company as a CISO.
Nice.
So I'm like, I told my coworker, I was like, how can we make that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, like when you told me you switched, I was like, that field is highly sought after right now.
Yep.
Just like my other nephew, he was planning before he went to Stanford. The CIA was recruiting him,
Yep. Dang.
and then his pops, he's like a Marine for like the Pentagon.
Hmm.
He was like, you don't want to. This comes back to that clearance because like they got moved to Okinawa,
Hmm.
and then he was telling me like the clearance just to leave the states that you have to get just to go visit your parents
Yeah.
is like it's like over the top. Like you don't want to have to deal with that,
Yep. Yep.
you know. Yeah, but every time I see clearance, I'm like, I'm good. That means you have to go sit in the cone of silence room and like feel like you're about to, when you stand in a lineup at like the police station and
Oh,
stuff, and
I
they,
don't know. I don't know.
yeah, me neither. Man, go for
Wait,
Mission
what
Five.
was that? What was that? Oh.
That's what it feels like when you're sitting behind and you're like that two-way mirror,
Yep. Yep.
and like whoever's standing on the outside is like watching you. It's like, dude, this is creepy. Like,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, like I'm cool on the DOD,
Hey,
cool on the
but
government period.
nah, I get you. I get you on that one. Hey, but a couple more subjects I wanted to just touch on before we finish off here, like the whole like layoff situation, right? So there's two ends of the spectrum within like tech, as you know, like people see there's like a lot of money that can be made, but they also don't realize that sometimes layoffs happen or you got to switch jobs. How have you handled that, or like you know what I mean? What would you share with people that like are trying to get in the industry that just to know about that this happens?
Yeah. Well, living and growing up in the Bay, when all the tech companies came, like everything shot through the roof.
Hmm.
So basically, if you get hit in the layoff, like I was working like two, three jobs, like on top of the tech job. So
Hmm.
if I got hit in a layoff, I was cool because I still had like the other two gigs, but then I was still job hunting at the same time. Um, some of the tech industry now, I know people that they got laid off last year and they're still looking,
Hmm.
and that is like the downside when it comes to being in the tech industry is because you never know.
Yep.
You never know when you get that email saying, "Hey, report to this room," or "Hey, your contract ends today."
Yep.
Um, it's just it's not like other jobs. Like you rarely hear of people being at a job at a tech company for like 20 plus years.
Yep.
Just like Eric,
Hmm.
just like your uncle Eric. His situation is weird because not weird. It's more traditional because he spent time at that at his company for 20 plus years. That's
Yeah.
rare in like the tech industry.
Hmm.
I rarely come across somebody that has been at a tech company, especially in cybersecurity. Um, I've rarely come across anybody that's been in the cybersecurity industry with one tech company for more than 5.
Right.
And it's because I asked my old manager this. She told me it's because cybersecurity people, once you get higher on the ladder, when you get higher on the totem pole, you want to go in, fix the problem of that company, and then move on.
Yeah.
So a lot of my directors, uh, my previous directors when I was on Red Team, they left the company, and now they from 2014 until now, the 10 years, I think they've been with like at least 6 or 7 different tech companies in cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm.
But they go in as directors. So they come in, see the problem, try to fix it. If not, they'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no, I'm not trying to deter anybody from coming into the tech industry.
Yep.
It's a good industry when it comes to like learning and stuff. Um, Vahe wise, yeah, I wouldn't deter anybody from trying to come in because it's different. Because so if you look at our culture, um, when it all ties back to culture, it's like we it's like you go to school, you try to go to college. Um, if not, then you gotta pick something that you want to do,
Right.
and then you'll see that a lot of people like they gravitate towards like, hey, I'm gonna go work at Malaya, get the benefits, but I also have another job
Mm-hmm.
on the side. I just want the benefits from Malaya to Puna,
Yep.
to fly and that free flying. um, but exposing people to the tech, I think schools are doing it more and more now because that's the world like our kids are gonna live in,
Exactly.
and
Yep.
so like coding, like my son's only he's only in second grade, but code like code ninjas in them, they come to their school,
Man, that's good. I wish I had that
you
at
know.
that age, man.
Yeah, and then like I know like a lot of schools in the Bay, coding is like they took out like all the stuff that we had when I was in school. It was like wood shop, auto
Wood
shop,
shop.
auto.
Yep. Auto shop.
They took all that out, and now they're
Yep.
all doing like STEM. They're doing like science and
Yep.
like coding, and it's they're just basically, in my eye, they're readjusting for the new world,
Yeah.
which is cool. But then it kind of goes back to when we were talking about trades. It
Yep.
makes people like try to downplay trades, but
Just as
trades
important.
is trades just
Yep.
as important.
Yep.
Because we wouldn't have AC, or your house wouldn't be wired up if it wasn't for the
Exactly.
trades.
Yep. Yep.
So usually what I'm these you already know your two little cousins over here. We just like try to expose them
Yep.
to more. One already wants to go and build his own video game.
Oh, nice,
So
man. That's what's up,
so
man.
and then the other one is just no idea, but she's more of like more math
Yeah.
and stuff. So hopefully we'll see what it is, but that is the changing of the times.
Yep. Hey, to that point, just to close off here, like what advice, like the same advice that you give to your children, what advice would you give to like a young like poly kid in our community, like trying to get into tech, or someone who's trying to transition to a career in tech now at a like older age? You know what I mean? What's some advice that you would share?
If you have the opportunity, take it.
Hmm.
Um, because so for the younger ones, like the ones that like your brother and them that are still playing,
Yeah.
use that vehicle to try to get to the destination that you want. Like, go get that free education, get that full ride. Um, but not everybody's gonna make it to the NFL.
Yep.
You know, um, just have that fallback. Like, they might not be interested in tech, but always have a fallback
Yep.
when it comes to that. And it goes back to the point that I was telling you earlier is with the tech layoffs, like I still had like a fallback. I still had, hey, I got to go grind at these clubs, or I got to go, hustle with the homies trying to do these deliveries and stuff, like, just always have something in your back pocket. But for the younger generation,
Yep.
because you look at our like the younger generation now as in the poly community, it's good that they're all in sports because then that trains them to become student athletes where it
Mm-hmm.
becomes time management
Yep.
when they be so that's that's good when it's ingrained, like, hey, I got to train for this amount of time and then I got to study for this amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
which is good. And then but yeah, just find something that you like to do. If it's not tech, just find something. For the older crowd that you mentioned, a job switch is always you can either transition into tech since that's where everybody seems to be going,
Yep.
and there's free courses out there that teach you depending on what you want to do in tech.
Yeah.
It's not only the cybersecurity side. They also have like the devs.
Yep.
They're developing stuff, UX, user experience,
Yep.
and then you have the UI development. There's so much that people can do in tech.
Exactly.
Uh, m- Cybersecurity is just what me and you do,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that's what we know. When you talk to your uncle, he's probably going to talk about like coding
Mm-hmm.
because that's what happened with him. Um, he took a coding course,
Yep.
finished his coding course. He went to school for a bit, applied, and now he's about 20, 25 years deep
Yep.
in his company. So it's never too late
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to transitioning. It just depends what you want to transition to. If it's not tech and you want to do something else, that's cool too. But tech is never. Um, yeah, tech is it's always changing. Now everybody's hyped up on AI, and
Yeah, man. Like,
so I'm like, come on.
hey, whenever someone asks me what I do in tech, they're like, "Do you work in AI?" Like, man, everyone be thinking that we all work in AI. Sometimes these were like some people that are like non-technical. Like, they're like, "What do you do with ChatGPT?" Man, you shouldn't be putting information in there.
You shouldn't, because yeah, ChatGPT, like any AI thing, is banned on our network.
Yep.
But that I've met people that have put themselves through college with the papers they get from ChatGPT.
Hey, that's true. Though. I ain't
um,
gonna lie. Senior year, I was. That's when it first came out. Man, every student was using it in the class.
that's what I'm saying. Like I told one of the nephews, he's at a university. I was like, bro. He's like, man, I got this paper due tomorrow. I was like, Shanna, put it in
ChatGPT.
GPT and get a paper. And then you put, so the crazy thing, I don't know if you know this. So when you get whatever you get from Chat GPT, and then there's another AI, you put whatever you got from them in there, and it checks for plagiarism.
Oh yeah, so make it more human like and
Yeah, it makes it more human like. And then there's another one that change it again, and then so if your teacher tries to find it, see, this comes the hacker trying to buck the system.
just the
That's the
hacker
only reason I got
mindset,
in there.
man.
It's just I just wanted to buck the system.
Yep,
You
yep.
know, especially when the funny thing is some of your cousins and stuff they hit me up. They're like, "Hey, do you have a hack for like Fortnite?" I was like, "Stop playing that game. That game is trash." I was like, Fortnite is horrible. Go play a better game.
They're probably
And
trash at it
then
anyways, man.
that's why they're probably looking for hacks. So I'm
Yep,
like,
yep.
dude. But yeah, the AI. What is your thoughts on AI?
Man, I like it as a tool, but at the same time, it's like I actually went to a OWASP meeting in San Diego a couple months ago, and they were just talking about like if you're feeding stuff in, you got to be realize that like if you're feeding in your own info, they're storing that info. It don't just disappear after you throw it in there. You know what I mean? So I like it as a tool, but I like for scripting and stuff. Because man, I like to be honest, I'd be burnt out from like coding sometimes. So sometimes I'll just like, hey, create this little bash script to automate this or that. I like it for that reason, but I also am like cognizant and aware of like, be aware of what you're throwing in there, man.
That's not
So
that doesn't only go for AI. Just be aware of what
that's
you
true. Yeah,
put
yeah.
out there,
Yep. Yep.
especially from coming from like what we know or what
Yep.
the industry that we're in. Um, it's kind of like I had to tell Anna, I was like, hey, you gotta stop putting stuff like that, like in your social media, because one, it doesn't get erased.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks like,
It just
oh,
disappear after.
yeah, everybody they were juiced about Snapchat, and it was like, oh, it just disappears. No, it doesn't. I've known people that have gone in and got like pictures and videos from supposed videos that were 24 hours,
Yep.
but no, they ended up finding. They did like the digital forensics and found them and
Hmm.
pulled them out. So
Hey, to
yeah.
that point, my bad. I know we're on time, but I want to talk to that point because I think it'll be beneficial to our communities. How can you prevent your own social media, like your Facebook, your Twitter, Instagram, from getting hacked? Because like I be laughing because I'll be on people's stories and then they're like, "Don't go on my account; it got hacked." So, what is your advice to those folks within our communities to prevent their social media accounts from being hacked? Tao te fito ki he Facebook.
uh, you know what? I think it's bigger than that.
Hmm.
I think it's more of the younger generation needs to teach the older generation how to use it.
Yep.
Um, every time I hear, "Oh, my Facebook got hacked," one of my nephews, my other nephews, he was like, "Hey, can you help me get back into my account?"
Hmm.
I was like, yeah, there's a thing called forgot my password, and you could do that and try to. But I can't sit there and like physically try to hack. Like I can go to jail for that.
Yep. Yep.
Like, but when it comes to like social media and stuff, uh, just be vigilant of like who you let in, because sometimes you can. There's ways to like make it private,
Yep.
make your account private, make it locked. And then the biggest thing is stop clicking random links.
Yep.
People was like, I got hacked. Oh yeah, did you click a link? It was like a link saying like the coin thing for games.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people in our community they play those mobile games and they're like, hey, I'm trying to
Yep.
level up,
Mhm.
and
Send
they'll
me a
send them a
life.
link like, yeah, send me a life, and then they'll be like, here, click this link,
Yep.
and that link basically is gonna hijack their whole session, and then next thing you know, like one of my uncles, he was posting like very obscene stuff, and my cousin was like, "Oh, these hackers, they don't have nothing better to do." I was like, "No, your
You
pops clicked something that he wasn't supposed to be clicking."
Exactly, exactly.
So my advice to our people in our community when it comes to like social media, just be vigilant of who you're exposing to. Because I don't know if you know this, but there was a forum back, I think like maybe like 10 years ago,
Mhm.
is whatever you post basically doesn't become, it's not yours anymore.
Yep.
So there was this group, they took a bunch of people's pictures that people posted on like Facebook and made an art gallery out of it.
Damn.
They made an art gallery out of it. The people, it was just random people's pictures that they took off of Facebook, and the people tried to go sue and they lost because once it's posted, it becomes public information.
Yep.
Once it's public information, you could basically potentially just take it and it becomes yours. Also another thing, I just thought of this. Stop posting where you at.
Yep.
Um, I know you want to post like, "Hey, we're having fun. We're at," but that it's not the thing I'm worried about. Is it's on the internet and there's
Mhm.
predators. Um, those pictures that I was just talking to you about, uh, those were pulled. I think they pulled them, but then also when you expose where you're at all times of the day, and you start posting pictures of your loved ones, you don't know who's going to see that, and you don't know who's going to come to where you're at.
All right.
So stop clicking on stuff, stop posting where you're at, and try to make your stuff more private. I know you want, because it becomes everybody's looking for that. I think it's called like everybody's looking for like that reassurance, like, hey, I got likes. Somebody liked my picture. Not only in our community, but in the social media in general, people are
Yep.
always looking for likes. They're trying to get reassured, about, hey, this is what I'm doing, like da 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 da. People don't really need to know what you're doing.
Yep.
If they needed to know what you're doing, they would have probably called you,
Mm-hmm.
say what's up, keep in contact and stuff. But yeah, that's what I would tell our community. Try to have the younger generation help the older generation when it comes to social media, and then stop clicking on stuff. Stop posting where you at.
Yep.
We can already see that how that rapper got killed out here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody dropped a link. They came and got him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I would say about social media. I'm not really on social. I just go on social media just to
Catch up
watch
with
videos,
family.
and
Yep.
I don't even catch. I don't say nothing on there. I
Mm-hmm.
just go and just read and and just see how people are. But it's coyote now because every time you log in, it's like somebody's puto, and it's like, damn.
Either that or
It's like,
someone's doing their own little mukbang or their
yeah, it's like,
pickleball somewhere.
yeah, because I'm not really trying to hear about your pickleball sessions, and you especially like, so when it comes to like your location and stuff, like I know people, they're like, oh, I want to take picture first day of school,
Mm-hmm.
graduation. Just don't post where you're at.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the internet is open to the world. It's not the World Wide Web for nothing.
Yep. Yep.
You don't know who's scraping Google, scraping anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like you said, for people that's talking about scraping, you can get a scraper. Go into Google and you can basically scrape information of anybody. Um,
It's
I don't know
that
if anybody,
OSINT, man.
yeah, if you're aware of that OSINT, you can find anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and it's all because of the internet. They try to put places like California has, like, you could tell companies to remove you
Mm-hmm.
from their list. Europe has this, the GDPR.
Yep.
Um, but really, you think it's really going to erase everything? It's not going to erase
Nah,
your
they still
footprint.
gonna have a footprint on the internet.
Hmm.
Shoot, man. Well, I appreciate it, Louis. Thank you for sharing your experience and giving people a little
No,
bit about what it's like to work in tech. And again, for Maluatu, man, for sacrificing your time to hop on my little
Shanna,
podcast.
no, hey, Shanna, no worries. Thank you for having me. Just hopefully, the information I gave would, for your viewers, your fans and stuff. Que fui professional, Maga. With the
Palafu,
mic in
man. Palafu,
the
palafu.
Duke with Palafu, what it do?
What it do? What it do?
But yeah, hopefully this gives you some insight to people that are interested in tech or interested in cybersecurity. It is a different world, um, and hopefully this gives them the information that they're looking for, some kind of insight. Um, as always, you can always just hit me up if you have any questions
Yep.
about anything in general.
You okay with people reaching out to you, or is
No, I'm
it?
talking about
Oh,
you. If
oh,
you
oh, 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 okay, okay. Never
have.
mind then. Never mind then. Anyways, I appreciate it, Louis.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, take care.
You too.